committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. Well, it was a close call for staff at Saul Service Station on Bay Street after a vehicle crashed into the shop. Shane Seeley visited the scene.
A cleanup is underway here at Saul Banyans after a freak accident last night where a SUV crashed through the front glass of the Saul shop here on Bay Street. The pictures of this Hyundai Tucson registration number X8073 parked in the aisles of the Saul shop went viral on social media from last night. This video shows the driver trying to reverse the vehicle out of the facility. Gina Cummins, the sales and marketing manager at Saul Barbados Limited, spoke to CBC News about the incident.
At approximately around 11 p.m. last evening, a vehicle being driven by a third party collided into our store. Thankfully, there was no harm to persons who were on site at the time. We did have some damage to our store, and right now our focus is on restoring operations. The pump will be reopened from 11 a.m. this morning, and at 3 p.m. we'll have the store reopened to customers.
Saul is still carrying out investigations into the crash. Meanwhile, this video shot this morning suggests it could have been a very close call for the cashier on duty. Now, there were a number of employees in the store at the time. Luckily, none of them were hurt. The driver is reportedly safe, and now what Saul officials are considering are installing bollards. These are steel pipes filled with concrete and erecting them in front of the store to avoid a similar situation like this in the future. I'm Shane Seeley for CBC News.
A government minister says a prime objective of the administration in 2016 must be to spur economic growth. That's the view of Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth Stephen Lashley. He spoke to CBC News after a Christmas Mass at the St. James Parish Church.
I think we have to go into 2016 prepared to move our economy forward to growth and to assist in ensuring that we can build our economy back again. I think once that happens, we have to get to that next phase of lowering taxation across the board to allow for greater participation in the economy of Barbados. And I think that that is something that we all have to take responsibility for. And therefore, I believe that 2016 is one that is within our grasp to ensure that the growth that we aspire for in the economy can become a reality.
Minister Lashley is also calling on Barbadians, the public service and the private sector to focus more on driving productivity. He says this is key for sustained growth of the economy.
In order for our economy to grow, we have to have greater productivity across all sectors. Certainly, as it relates to the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth, we are focused on ensuring that the culture industry sector in all its various spheres can assist in diversifying the economy and growing the economy as well.
Barbadians might have some reservations about the Caribbean Court of Justice following its judgment in the Shanique Myrie versus Barbados case. However, this country's ambassador to CARICOM, Robert Bobby Morris, says the CCJ remains an important institution to CARICOM. The diplomat would like to see more Caribbean countries join the Trinidad and Tobago-based court. Ambassador Morris was a guest on CBC TV8's program Morning Barbados.
It's unfortunate that we don't have everybody signing yet, but I'm hopeful that all countries will move in and get there, because people won't want to join, but they want to use the system, etc. All that is there. But the Myrie judgment allowed for a specificity in how we do business, and it forces us to think again about the decisions that we take in all of the different agencies of CARICOM, in all of the various organs of CARICOM.
Ambassador Morris added that the free movement of people remains a thorny issue.
Has always been problematic in terms of moving people, because there were the insularity is still a fairly big thing in the Caribbean, and migration is one of the hugest issues in the world today. We need to put these things within the context, because one of the things when you're negotiating, you have to understand context. You have to understand frame. Migration has never been a minor thing. It's always been major. So what has happened is that in the wisdom of the founding fathers, they decided when they talk about single market economy, now they're talking about general migration, but let's look at specific forms of migration. So they're talking about people with CARICOM skill certificate.
Barbados' first Chief Magistrate, Frank King, has died. CBC understands that the former High Court judge passed away at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital on Christmas Day after a brief illness. Mr. King was also a former chairman of the Fair Trading Commission, a post he took up after retiring from the bench. He was 85 years old. Mr. King is survived by his children, Curtis King and Linda Wiggins, who lives in Maryland, USA. We'll have more news ahead, but first we want to hear from you on this question. Do you think it's time for free movement in CARICOM to be afforded to more than just skilled nationals? Text yes or no to short code 8111. Those results at the end of the news.
Sale, sale, sale at Shoemax. The place to go for ladies' footwear is Shoemax at Dowell's House, Palmetto Street. For work, casual, school, and wide-width shoes for maximum value on lady shoes and selected items for only $29.95. Go to Shoemax, Dowell's House, Palmetto Street.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, my darling.
Thanks, Mr. Banks, man. Thanks, man.
Cheers, mate.
One more. Right.
Thanks, man.
Each and every day, we're thankful for something. And we're thankful for you. We couldn't do it without you.
This is where I learn. Courage is what I got from experience. With hard work, there are no walls between me and my dreams.
Only Milo contains ActiveGo, which is a blend of Protomalt, a unique malt extract, and micronutrients to help prepare your child to get the best out of their day.
Thanks, Mom. Now I am ready.
Milo, energy food drink of champions.
Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
A former government minister believes Barbadians should be proud this country has met the global hunger target. In addition to Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Guyana have met both the World Food Summit hunger reduction goal and the hunger reduction target of the Millennium Development Goals. The targets were set in 1996 and 2000. Government advisor on social policy and former Minister of Social Transformation, Hamilton Lashley, in responding to the findings released in the 2015 edition of the State of Food Insecurity in the Caribbean, commended the government.
It shows the seriousness of how we approach the food security in Barbados and in the region in general. However, I also believe that Barbados is one of the few countries across the world that will achieve the Millennium Development Goal targets on time. There was a deadline set for 2015, and Barbados is also on course this year. I believe we're achieving most of the goals as set up by the Millennium Development Goals.
The report, however, notes Dominica, Bahamas, Belize, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago all have undernourishment levels less than 10% of their population. The remaining Caribbean countries have undernourishment levels of between 10 and 20%. Haiti is the exception, with extremely high levels of undernourishment at 50% of the population. The number of undernourished people in the Caribbean declined by approximately 500,000 between 1992 and this year. There were no road fatalities recorded during the Christmas holidays, and the Barbados Road Safety Association would like to see the trend continue as the year closes. Public Relations Officer Richard Cox is sending out a word of caution to all motorists who may be preparing for New Year's celebrations. He wants those who may be drinking to designate a safe driver, noting it's an offense to be drunk and disorderly in a public place.
If a policeman sees you on the roads walking and he feels that you are drunk and incapable, then he's quite within the law to arrest you and take you to the police station and hold you there until morning when you are capable of looking after yourself. For the motorist, I beg you, if you must drink, do not drive. We certainly would like to keep the number of fatalities on the roads at 22. We were hoping to cut this down by even a third this year, but we haven't succeeded. So take it easy.
Mr. Cox says acts of reckless driving can affect the country's image with tourists.
A man hiring a car to drive around our beautiful island, he does not want to drive at 100 kilometers an hour, 80, 60. He wants to take a cool ride around, enjoy the island, and take back the car when it's finished. And if he believes he's going to be hassled by speeding motorists, then he leaves that car in the garage. What happens? We lose that foreign exchange. Remember, the government cannot run the country unless we have foreign exchange, and we need all the foreign exchange we have. So therefore, we ask motorists to be more patient with hired cars.
The Eagle Hall mural captures much of the rich history of that St. Michael community. Tonight, the focus is on this unique work of art as we take you back in time for the final feature in the series, Murals in Barbados.
Think of stepping into a time machine and going way back, decades ago, when people, places, and the times were different. Take that journey with me through the Eagle Hall mural. Lead artist on the project, Omawale Stewart, says this is a community mural arranged as a montage.
If you read from left to right, we will start at the lower level with the personalities and the human aspects of it as we read and go over. Above, reading from left to right, we also have some of the characteristic buildings that played a very important part in this community.
Mr. Stewart says back in that time, Eagle Hall had a dynamic sports spirit.
Below here now you have a lot of the traditions that Eagle Hall was known for. Basketball, imagine Eagle Hall had a strong basketball team years ago. Soccer, Eagle Hall had many famous soccer people. Road tennis was also big in the area, and cycling and boxing. And of course, the Eagle Hall Market.
And these were some of the iconic people of that era.
Ernest Dayton, Mortley, the mayor. The Mortleys used to live up in Eagle Hall. And here you have Norville, the first FIFA referee. And I'm talking about in the 70s.
So let's look at some of the ways people back then passed the time. This was a typical scene at the Liberty Dance Hall. It was something quite similar to Q in the community, a fusion of fashion and the most memorable music hits.
I know that you and you alone.
Tony Thompson, who grew up in Eagle Hall, talks about the tradition surrounding the fried pork chop served at the Liberty.
The pork chop was slipped into a handbag. All ladies had a handbag, yes. And you bought a lady a pork chop. You know, not chocolates or flowers or any one of the things that you might think at your age. You gave her a pork chop. And that actually was a kind of a contractual agreement that you would dance with her for the evening. Sometimes you would lose your space because somebody might buy her 2 pork chops. And according to the folk tradition, those pork chops would be serving the family, her family, for this Sunday meal. So when a lady left in the